Hey friends, welcome to chapter 19 of the Crucible Chronicles. In this chapter, and very likely the next chapter of this series, we're going to be kind of doing a little bit of collection work, by which I mean we're going to be taking a look at some different decks in my collection and seeing if they kind of pass the test for something that I want to hold on to. So more specifically, if you're familiar with the concept of Leanforge, which is pioneered and championed by Logotarian Luke. It's roughly the idea that you kind of set some number for your collection in terms of how many decks you want, and then you set criteria in terms of what like makes a deck something that you want to hold on to, and then you try and kind of lean down your collection to that amount. So I think Logotarian Luke has like 10 decks, maybe less than 10 decks total. I don't endeavor to be quite so lean with my collection, but I'll show you kind of where we're looking at. And I will say that this is something that I've kind of feel like I have to keep revisiting, mainly because I don't have like a great criteria set for them. So it's just kind of, if I'm feeling the deck or not feeling the deck, then that's what determines if we hold on to it. But all that to say, I'm going to hop on over here. We'll take a quick look at what my collection's looking like right now. And again, I'm not trying to, hopefully this doesn't come across as like me trying to boast that I have a large collection or anything like that. Like ideally, I'd like to get a lot less decks. So we're sitting at 141 decks. These are decks that are actually in my possession. And like, yeah, under my control. Now I've done a little bit of work already. If we actually take a quick peek, here, do a little bit of management here. First of all, shout out to Decks of KeyForge and like one of my favorite parts about Decks of KeyForge isn't actually the rating system; it's the like ability to do collection management. So this is what we got. If we're taking a look at Call of the Archons, Age of Ascension, and Worlds Collide, removing this tag, which is basically all decks that are ready to be sold or otherwise given away, down to 27 decks. From whatever that 140 decks was earlier. So I've done like pretty good, kind of my general idea, at least with each previous set. Is I want to get down to like as close to 10 decks per set as I can. I think we've done that in average. I think Worlds Collide, there are 11 decks that I'm sitting on. AOA and Call of the Archons each have I have 8 decks that are kind of earmarked to be held on to. So the problem here is when we add in Mass Mutation, because it kind of went nuts. So we're sitting now at 81 decks. We can get rid of, I basically processed through all those 3 already. The problem child is Mass Mutation, and I don't know exactly how this is going to work because there's quite a bit of, like, even just this crazy deck that doesn't do stuff very well. There's just always like something very interesting about the deck, especially with the enhancements that I'm drawn to. So I have actually done a little bit more stuff here, in that I've removed a couple more decks that I haven't processed and packaged up to be ready to be sold or shipped or whatever. So we're sitting at 47 decks left. 47 decks, and actually I think it's less than that, because we want to get rid of the decks that I've for sure keeping. There we go, 34 decks. And what was that? We've already got like 13 decks earmarked to be held on to. So obviously I'm already over the 10 deck per set limit, but kind of what I've told myself, at least until Dark Tidings comes out, is, or at least I think my running thing will be the most recent set that was released. I'll try and get it down to 20. So basically that means we'll have 10 of the first 3 sets in this case. Up to 20 of Mass Mutation is my target number. And then once we get towards the end of Dark Tidings, I'll reevaluate, see if I can't get that number down closer to 10 for Mass Mutation. And then, of course, Dark Tidings will be at 20. And, we'll see. We'll see. At a certain point, once we get enough sets in, that whole, like, 10 decks per set will probably even be reduced a little bit, just because I'm not going to have as much time to play those decks. But all that to say, I do have a deck that we're going to be taking a look at today, and actually for this whole chapter. And I picked a deck that is kind of like right on the edge of. I think like the enjoyment factor is definitely there when playing the deck. It's not necessarily like super competitive or anything like that. But again, to clarify, I'm not looking to curate my collection to only have really competitive decks. I think like if we're going by ratings, and again, take that with what you will, my Coda, the decks that I have held on to from Coda, like none of them are above 70 SAS. I think like 3 or 4 of them are below 60. And quite a bit in the low 60s, low to mid 60s as well. So again, my objective is not to have a bunch of hyper competitive decks, or even just a bunch of really powerful decks. Like I alternatively would actually prefer to have like, one or two, maybe like over the whole collection, a total of like 5 to 8 decks that would be like potentially more competitive in case I needed, in case I wanted to play in some type of really competitive event. But if you haven't caught on from this channel, we tend to like play a lot of middling decks, and that's actually how I really like to play KeyForge. So if you look at the bell curve of like deck power and deck distribution, I'm hoping that the collection that I end up with at the end of this will kind of in some ways be accurate to that bell curve. So like a higher amount of middling decks, and maybe a handful of like pretty low quality decks, but also just a handful of high quality decks. So that is just put that out there. I've selected for this chapter Understep the Banker of Terror, and so we're going to play a total of 5 games, 1 game for each episode with Understep. And I do apologize, this first episode is going to be a little bit long, just doing this intro and whatnot. But one thing that has drawn me to this deck, and when I opened it, I really liked about it, was the particular presence of a couple creatures that have the reap discard a card from your hand if you do draw a card ability. So we have a Xenobot in Logos, we have Techno Thief, which has the same ability in Shadows, and we actually also have Techno Beast in Untamed. So I quite like that. There's a particularly nice synergy with this ability, with this reap ability, with the autoencoder. So that I think was the first thing that like really drew me towards this deck after I opened it. The other thing is it's got some pretty decent mutant synergy as well. We've got, of course, Krazap, destroy each non-mutant creature. And we've got, let's see, Tirado, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Rad Penny, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's got 11 mutants. So nice synergy with Krazap to not kill all my own stuff. It also has Vault's Blessing. If you haven't seen this card, each player gains 1 ember for each mutant creature they control. So definitely some pretty cool stuff going on there. I like some of the synergies in the deck. It's also, the deck just isn't also like really oppressive. It just feels like it's a sort of fair deck. Certainly in a mass mutation matchup because of the Vault's Blessing. That works both ways, and Tirado works both ways as well. And of course, Krazap works both ways. So yeah, I think it's just been kind of a fun deck that's done pretty well for me in the past. But it's also like, there's nothing super exceptional about it. And again, by exceptional, I don't necessarily mean super powerful. There's not like any particularly really intricate combo that I find cool or fun. It's just kind of, again, some of the base synergies that we have in this deck. We also do have the Shadowsaurus with an Opportunist, so some cool opportunities to potentially pick an opponent's creature and grab it. But yeah, so we're going to take this out for 5 games, and then at the end of this chapter, we'll make a determination on whether or not we want to hold on to this deck or if we'll add it to the pile of decks that we should send elsewhere. And I will note real quick. I'm probably gonna publish, right? Probably in the video description below. I'll throw a link to my decks of KeyForge keyword or whatever of decks that are ready to be sold. So if any of you are interested in taking a look through these, I want to also clarify, I'm not necessarily interested in selling them. Like if there is a deck or a couple of decks that you're interested in and you're willing to pay shipping, do reach out to me on Twitter, Discord, or I don't know if you can reach out easily on YouTube, but do that, and we'll see if we can sort something out. I will say if there's like a deck that is maybe a little more spicy, because again, I'm not looking to just hold on to all the spicy decks, so some of those will be in there. I'm maybe trying to get a little bit of cash for that, just to further fund the addiction. But anyways, let's hop on over to TCO actually really quick. Got this set up. We got Understep already pulled in. Just wanted to do this real quick. I realize that I don't often do this when we're talking mass mutation, but we should probably visit where all the enhancements are. First of all, notably, we have the double amber enhanced Flumph, which is pretty cool. We got a Lyco Thief who has an ember as well. And then we've got, let's see, Positron Bolt, which has an enhanced ember, along with the basic ember that it already has. And then we have a Capture on Professor Tirado. So that is the enhancement distribution. So far, apparently, we're 5 and 2 with the deck, so I think it's done pretty well. But yeah, let's, what's that? It's like it's half a normal length of an episode we just did on the intro. But let's hop on into a game and see how this first game goes. Sweet, let's do this. Playing against Beulah, Regina del Palazzo Prosperoso. Very interesting. So we got Brobnar Dis Untamed. Let's actually take a quick second to look this over. It looks like a Coda deck. We have the double Ember Imp, which is pretty annoying. We are actually going to be going first, so we'll go ahead and put that down. Now, I like the fact we got this Kurzap, in case they try and get a cheeky Ember Imp down. We also have this Diametric Charge and this autoencoder. So I think I actually kind of like this lead. I could throw down the Techno Thief. I feel like we still got some options to deal with the Ember Imps. That's like the main thing I'm worried about. I guess we have the Double Terror as well. But might just have to deal with that. So let's hold on to this. We'll go Shadows, throw down the Techno Thief. I could throw down the Dark Fairy. The main problem is, I don't know, like I'd like to just end my turn being two housed, having two houses in my hand. Nice thing is either way we got some ways to deal with that Ember Imp. Good amount of disruption there. Looks like we got double Nocturnal Maneuver. I got Lost in the Woods. Cooperative Hunting definitely could do some work too. Interesting. So I might actually just go Untamed here. Try and bait out a little bit more stuff. We'll throw down the Dark Fairy and Wild Spirit onto the Techno Thief. Techno Thief is elusive, so let's do that. Oh, bummer. Well, so I was hoping to draw into some non-logos, but instead we drew another Untamed card and another Shadows card. But again, not feeling too bad. We have an out for the Ember Imp. We could potentially, go back into Untamed, just try and generate some Ember with the Dark Fairy. I do have an Ember, so that's pretty good. Feeling pretty nice about that. So the terrors can't just go nuts. Okay, Mushroom Man has been engaged. Nice. Nocturnal Maneuver, so both of those will get exhausted. That's fine. That's fine. I still think we'll probably go, we'll call Logos here, although I think it would be nice to get a little more value out of this Kurzap. But again, we got the, yeah, let's just go Logos. We'll call Logos. We'll do the Diametric Charge. Do we want the Chain? Could probably discard this. Oh, got a Titan Engineer in there. Let's play Crucible. Sure, let's just wipe the board. Give ourselves some options here. So we have an okay Vault's Blessing. Certainly could do better with this deck. Got access to both Titan Engineers. I think there's just 2 in this deck, right? Yeah. Only 2 Titan Engineers. A little bit of Ember Control with Look Over There. I feel like I definitely want to get some more creatures on the board, especially with that Lost in the Woods being an option. All right, going with this. Oh, there you go. Look at that synergy. Look at that synergy. Beautiful. The Charette Ember Imp synergy. I love it. Dominator Bobble does not work like that. The Dominator Bobble does not work like that. So there's no Arise. That's nice. Fortunately for us, we're still only going to play 2 cards this turn, regardless of what house we play. The question is, I think we probably just play Untamed here. We get 2 Ember. We get 4 Ember, actually. The fight off a Dark Fairy. We could maybe, like, next turn call Shadows or something. So let's go Untamed. We will play out Flumph. Get on out there, Flumph. The Dark Fairy will fight the Ember Imp. We'll play a Vault's Blessing. And call that good. Call that good. Oh, no, that's interesting. A Dark Fairy could help us deal with that Charette if we use this this Growth Surge. Now, Flumph has to be a beast, right? Give a beast creature 2 +1 counters. So we don't have a whole lot of those. I mean, we got a lot of Flumps. We got 3 Flumps to be clear. We have plenty of beasts, just none of them on the board. We do have a kind of nice synergy with Tempting Offer and Look Over There. Deal some damage, steal, and then give them 1. But there's also the possibility that we might be needing to discard the Tempting Offer to... oh, there you go. Blood of the Titans. Well, that solves that, doesn't it? That solves that. We do have a standardized testing, though, so that's nice. We do have a standardized testing. All right, sound the horns to bring out the Rock Hurling Giant. So taking a dis turn, they've taken a couple, I guess, Untamed turns. Oh, Relentless Assault too. Wow, they're stacked. They're stacked on their Robnar. That certainly complicates things a little bit. I guess this Techno Thief will probably live. At least one of these creatures will probably live. Oh, discards Relentless Assault. That's what it is for the Rock Hurling Giant. Not bad. All right, well, what do we want to do here? I think we can go ahead and block this key with the Titan Engineer. Like that, also getting some more bodies on the board. Seems pretty useful. So we'll Sloppy Lab Work. Question is, do I want to get rid of the Tempting Offer? Or do I want to get rid of this Growth Surge? Well, we'll find out. Let's play that out. Play that out. Sloppy Lab Work. I could archive the Tempting Offer, get rid of the Growth Surge. Growth Surge could be nice with a Fandangle, though. So let's think this through. Am I planning on using the Tempting Offer? Maybe. I mean, Francis, let me tell you what, let's archive Growth Surge. We'll get rid of Francis. And And hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. Oh, there we go. Found our standardized testing. So that's good. That would be threes and nines right now. Threes and nines. I have this tempting offer. I had thought through maybe like throwing it on the charrette, but I don't know. That seems like not amazing. Not throwing it at, yeah. Giving charrette an offer it just can't refuse. But instead, I think the standardized testing could be nice. Although we do lose a little momentum. Okay, there you go. Double charrette. Toxin. Looking better. Definitely looking better for our standardized testing. So we'll be able to get Toxin, the big charrettes. Reaping. Hey, it works for me. All right. Well, we'll definitely force them to pay that higher amounts. I think we'll go Logos here. Go Logos. So standardized testing again, threes and nines. So that seems pretty good. We'll go ahead and do that. We got this other charrette that we can deal with. We'll fight that charrette. If only. We'll capture one onto the Titan Engineer. Question is, do we want to fight or? I mean, they're probably not going to call dis again. Not for some time. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cards out already. I mean, makes it that less useful if they call dis, and we're already on check. So let's do a little bit of board control. Time for some board control. Oh, nice. So we did the Opportunist is over here. We got that. Must have. What did we get that off of? Was that off? That was off of our sloppy lab work. Honestly, didn't even think to check that. There we go. Nice. So we got lost in the woods. Hey, works for me. Looks like. There's got to be 2 creatures. So Rock Hurling Giant goes, as do 2 of our creatures, meaning that I'm going to get a cheap key, I think. Unless there's some type of hidden Ember control in here that I haven't seen. The witch! It's a witch! Oh, nice. Fertility chant. Booyah. All right, regrowth. Let's see what comes back in here. Return charrette to hand. Okay, so they're going for Ember control. Sadly, I don't have enough creatures to block in this Titan Engineer, but that's okay. We got a nice cheap key. A nice cheap key. All right, I think we go Shadows. Here. Probably don't want this Wit to the Eye to live. So we'll pick up our archives, play out the Spike Trap. We'll look over here to put some damage onto that. Play out the Lyco Thief. The Opportunist can go onto the Lyco Thief, I suppose. So the real question is, do we give our opponent an Ember off this tempting offer? I think so. Sure. Just give him the Ember. It's all good. Everything's fine. I suppose that would have been one reason to call Untamed. I couldn't have taken them off check because I needed the steal. I needed the steal off of Look Over There and then the second creature. So Spike Trap, deal 3 damage to each flank creature. All right, a dangerous proposition. They hit us with the gateway. They just keep using that Dominator bobble. It's still not how it works. Alright, so we do get to Forge. Definitely pretty happy with that. I think, do we use this Spike Trap? Does it really matter? Does it really matter? What else are we worried about coming in? I know I think they have a second terror. I have that Lash of Broken Dreams down too. So I think either way, this is gonna be an Untamed turn. I'm just trying to figure out if I want a Spike Trap. Get a little bit of damage on the Charette. I also have this Mace's Asp. So maybe I hold off. Let's hold off. I'll play out the Fandangle, play out the Techno Beast, and then we'll Growth Surge to make them just a little bit more resilient, if you will. I'm sort of hoping they just can't deal with that. We've already seen the Relentless Assault. Gauntlet of Command isn't on the board. Follow the Leader, I think, could do something. We've seen both. We saw Lost in the Woods. We saw both Nocturnal Maneuvers. So I'm thinking, and Earthshaker. Yeah, Earthshaker won't do it. Earthshaker won't take out our Fandangle. Of course, we don't actually have enough Ember for it, so there is that small detail. Discards Gauntlet. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that'll do. That'll definitely do it. Interesting. Plays the Earthshaker. Oh dear. If I kill the Charette, 3, 4, then I'll Reap. That's such a bummer. Could throw down the Shoulder Id. Oof. Oof. Could protect the Fandangle. You know, let's go Shadows. We'll play out the Shoulder Id. Maybe play out this Mace's Asp. Try and protect it with the Shoulder Id. Come on, the Shadowsaurus. Yeah, let's do that. Mace's Asp. Because that is a way that I can kill the Charette pretty easily. So we'll end our turn there. Nice. So we drew into the Red Penny. Have a small amount of Ember control. Also, if we see Reap, kill the Charette, that gives us enough Ember for the Red Penny to even come into play ready. So that's pretty good. Definitely pretty good. Shadowsaurus is an action, right? Just wanted to make sure. I'm not about to accidentally Reap and take over this Charette. Hey, would you like some Ember? All right, so no Key Charge. Also haven't seen the Dust Pixie. Haven't seen the Dust Pixie or the Murmook. I think we know they're holding on to the Witch of the Eye. Going back into Brobnar. All right, let's see what they have to do with that. All right, so we steal one. Very interesting. Fights the Asp. trying to get to our Fandangle. Plays Crump. Okay. Plays Crump. Very interesting. Discards Headhunter to kill the Fandangle. Bummer. Bummer. Well, that was definitely a good play on their part. But I think we got some options here. Let's go ahead and vandalize first. Get rid of the Dust the Pixies. Or Dust the Pixies. Yeah, I'm so sorry, everyone. I can't even talk. Got Dust Pixie. We got the Murmook. That is tough. Loot the bodies. Also tough. Let's get rid of the Murmook. Last one is top. So I guess we'll put loot the bodies on the top. Let's go ahead and fight the Charette. Play out the Rad Penny to steal one. And then I think we Spike Trap. We'll Spike Trap just so that Crump... Yeah, the creature has to be destroyed, and Crump has to survive. Creature has to be destroyed, and Crump has to survive. Sadly, we didn't draw back into that Rad Penny. Fortunately, we still have this Professor Tirado enhanced with the capture icon. So hopefully, our opponent doesn't do some crazy burst here that we can't deal with. It seems like they might get stuck going with the disc though, so that's fine. The old Lash of Broken Dreams, the Lash of Broken Dreams dance. I love it. Nice. It's the Gongoozle to take out the Shadowsaurus. Oh, plays Keyhammer. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That was a mistake. They did certainly not want to do that. For those who aren't aware, Keyhammer does have a period in it. So it says, if your opponent forged a key on their previous turn, unforge it, period. It doesn't say if they do, your opponent gains 6. It says they basically will always gain 6 when you play it. I'll let him take it back. Oh, looks like they just gave us the W. GG, well played to our opponent. A little bit of goof there at the end with that Keyhammer play, but I feel like the writing was kind of on the wall. Obviously, Crump was out there, but I don't think Crump was going to be effective. And we had yeah, I think we would have been able to get onto check there quite easily. Well, we were already on check, I guess. We would have been able to exceed the limit of the Lash of Broken Dreams, I suppose, with the 3 Ember here, and then we could have captured some. So I think that was just obviously a misplay from our opponent, but I don't think in the long run it would have made a big difference. But yeah, there you go. Thanks for hanging and checking out this video. We're gonna play another 4 games with this deck. Like I said, I think it's kind of fun. It's got some cool stuff. I like the double Ember enhanced Flumph. Definitely cool to get some like weird burst potential out of just playing a creature that otherwise would have no Ember value on the turn that it's played. And the Shadows is like pretty cool, pretty functional. I think the Logos has some stuff going for it. The Double Titan Engineer obviously did a little bit of work for us this time around, but I think in general I'm not necessarily super excited to see. There are other creatures or other cards that I'd much prefer to have in a Logos suite for Mass Mutation than Double Titan Engineer. I feel like one is nice. It gives you a little bit of fighting potential. And the small Ember control benefit is also nice to have a little bit of utility there. But it's certainly not something you want to have like 3 or 4 of in a deck, I would say. But yeah, that'll be it. Again, sorry for a slightly longer episode today. Like I said, I wanted to get the kind of the intro down and talk through what we're gonna be doing for this episode. for this chapter of the Crucible Chronicles. I will mention, and I was going to mention this earlier, but I totally forgot. I will also put a link down in the video description to the Leanforge document that Logotarian Luke has put together, in case that's something you're interested in reviewing. It's a really great document. He's put a lot of thought into it. It's specifically, it's useful for kind of getting some ideas of like what are criteria that you could use to help kind of lean down your collection, if that's something you're interested in. Again, I think that means different things for different people. Obviously, for Logotarian Luke, that means like 10 decks. For me, I'm shooting for that kind of like 40 deck, maybe 50 deck mark for the time being, and then maybe trying to do some more work later. I think it's like, for me, it's just like a little bit of an iterative process. So I do what I can now, and then loop back a little bit later and see if I can make some more stuff happen. But definitely excited to be playing some of these decks. I think a lot of the stuff that's left represents some decks that are just like pretty fun. They got some cool, interesting synergies to them. Again, nothing that's like super oppressive, but just like can make for some really interesting and fun KeyForge games. So I do hope you'll come back for the next episode next Tuesday, and I will see y'all then.